What color is that? Or is that grandma? Yeah, definitely. That's grandma's. That hasn't been taken by the storm. You may.
Welcome to the pre-show, folks. We go live in about 4 minutes. So welcome to the program. I'm going to start up that. And we're set to go. We're ready to roll. Hey, Matthew Sainsbury. Yes, exactly. So we got mom and grandma and kids playing games over there in the other side of the room. And so there's a little talking in the background, but that's okay. No big shakes. I have a directional mic. Hey, Daniel Ondra. Good to see you, brother. Grumpy Stack. Doug, I don't know if you saw my message. I didn't get your phone call right away. I missed it. It's my kids had the phone. Somebody had it. And a message came in, so missed it. Sorry. Been a day, end to end, full of things. And then we were over at the neighbors for a little bit talking with them. So I'll talk to you probably tomorrow. I should be here all day. Hey, Matt Finn, Master Finn, welcome to the program. Welcome to the chat room. Good to see you, brother. Sean Stroik, good to see you. Give me something to write on. Okay, I'll listen to my voicemails. I haven't listened to those, Doug. Hey, Arlene, nice to see you. Welcome to the program. This is the pre-show for all of those of you who don't know that. Pre-show. We've got about 4.5 minutes at the beginning from 9 o'clock to kill before we go into the live program. Here's Ellie. Ellie, say hi.
I hurt my knee.
She hurt her knee a couple of days ago. Sometimes on crutches, sometimes jumping on the trampoline. So it comes and goes. Go. You going to play? You playing your game with Grandma? All right. We got a minute, and we go live on the radio feed. Hey, Michelle Canham Free. Yeah, she kind of hyperextended her knee a bit. Stretched something in there. The doc put we took her to the doctor because she had broken her ankle once, and we didn't know it. And so we thought, let's be careful. So Rainey took her in yesterday. So she got a pair of crutches. Rainey got those crutches at a garage sale or something, or at the thrift barn for $3, brand new. The doc said, well, that's good. You don't have to pay $300 for them here. So, okay, guys, we're going to go dark as we usually do, and then we'll start the show. So stand by.
Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent talk.
Are you looking for a really awesome and amazing graphic designer? How about an illustrator or a photographer? This is Rainey Roberts, and I wanted to tell you how you can get my designer, illustrator husband, Scotty Roberts, to work for you on your project. Do you have an awesome self-published book but no cover, or even worse, a cover that really sucks? Do you need a kick-ass logo for your company or some f***ing awesome graphic designs for your ads or website? Then get in touch with my husband for the best f***ing awesome kick-ass design and illustration. He knows his stuff and he's been at this for more years than I've been alive. Go to ScottAllenRoberts.com. That's Scott with 2 T's, ALANROBERTS.com to take a look at his online portfolio of work, or call 651-468-8115. Now go out and kick some ass with some kick-ass graphic design.
Hire my dad so he can take me to Disneyland.
You're listening to the Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent Talk.
Hey folks, welcome to the program. This is Scotty Roberts. I'm your host here on the Intrepid radio program, my show, right over here on Odyssey Radio. That's ODYSY radio.com. And if you're listening on Odyssey, you already know that. But what you might not know is that we also simulcast this broadcast in video. You can see it in 3 places over on YouTube. On Facebook, my Facebook page, Odyssey Radio's Facebook page, and Intrepid Radio's Facebook page, and also over on my YouTube channel. And that's youtube.com/Scotty Roberts. And while you're over there, if you have not already, subscribe to the channel. And then you'll get notifications that'll tell you when this show appears, which is every day, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And you can also hit that thumbs up button because that helps our algorithms over at YouTube, so on and so forth, builds our audience, et cetera, et cetera. And you can also, if you have not already, you can join this channel by clicking the little join button. It's different than subscribing. Click on the join button. It'll show you 3 ways that you can help support this program. And thank you for doing that ahead of time. Welcome to everybody over in the chat room. I want to say Old Glory. We're all familiar with that term, Old Glory. The Stars and Stripes, the Star Spangled Banner. From its inception, the American flag has been an important part of our nation's history. It's survived for over 200 years. The flag has been both physically and symbolically grown and developed in times of both achievement and crisis. So we're going to talk a little bit about the flag. And the reason I was prompted to do this tonight was because there are movements out there. And there was a big thing in the New York Times this last week about people out there that want to change our flag. And so the big question is, do you want to see the flag changed? Do you want to see it kept the same? And I've got a few pictures I'm going to show you, but we'll get to that in a minute, a few minutes, because I want to talk about something else. Just a reminder. Now, these are things. This is something I've talked about many times on this show. I've mentioned it many times, and I've quoted it many times. And that is my favorite quote. And favorite, to say that's my favorite quote seems a little bit trivial, perhaps a little light. But what I mean by that is this is a quote that I have followed. It's been my mantra for many years. And those of you who are regulars to this program, you already know what I'm going to say. You already know what I'm going to share with you. But we were over talking to our neighbors next door a little while ago this evening. And this came up, and I said, this is my mantra. He was talking about things that he's invented and things that, and he's a lot younger than I am. I think they're both younger than both Rainey and I. But this is something where he said, one of these days I want to get to that. I've got so many ideas and so many inventions and things I ought to patent. And I said, you oughta, because you don't want to get 20 years down the road and wish that you had done that. And we talked about that for a little bit. And he brought up some of his quotes and sayings that were very similar. What was one that John Lennon said a long time ago? One of the Beatles, John Lennon, the late John Lennon. He said, "Life is that thing that passes you by while you're waiting for it to happen." And he gave me another one, and now I can't remember what it was exactly or how he said it. But we started talking just for a few minutes about, I said, I got a favorite quote from Mark Twain. And this is the one you've all heard, and it made me want to bring this up tonight and talk about it for just a minute. And my favorite quote is this. You've all heard me say it before because, like I say, it's become my mantra in life, and it's something that I like to think about. And that is this. Mark Twain said, 20 years from now, you will regret more the things you didn't do than the things you did do. So cast off the bowlines, sail away from the safe harbor, set your sails to the trade winds, explore, dream, discover. And as I've mentioned before, this is something that I have thought about. I see Jeremy Hansen just appeared in the chat room over here. Jeremy started a new company. They took the old Ace motorcycle company from the 1930s, and they're going to be building new versions of motorcycles that look like the old ones from the 1930s, but have the modern equipment on it. And they bought up the trademarks and the logos and things like that. And I had the great pleasure of doing some logo design for them. And it looks an awful lot like the original. But Jeremy Hansen fits perfectly into this picture. And gosh, I hope it was okay announcing that, Jeremy. I think you put up posts about it, so I thought it was all right. But what I see is Jeremy's fulfillment of this idea. 20 years from now, you'll regret more the things you didn't do than the things you did do. So Jeremy's doing that same thing. He's grabbing that bull by the horns, and he's saying he doesn't want to get 20 years down the road and look back and go, God, I had this great idea. I wish I'd pursued it. There's more regret in not doing the things than in doing them. And even if you fail, what did Theodore Roosevelt say? Even if you fail at daring greatly. And far better it is to be in the realm of those who have tried something and lost than to rank with those poor souls who know neither the glory of victory or the agony of defeat. However, he said that. I've paraphrased him greatly there. But in his "it's not the critic who counts" speech. And so the same with Jeremy. It's not the critic who counts. I'm sure you've got some people that are detractors. You've got some people that are all for you. But you're doing that thing which many people don't do. They don't step out and do the thing. And so you don't want to get 20 years down the road and regret the fact that you hadn't done it. And the same with the rest of that quote. So what does it say? You don't stop there. It says, so cast off from the safe harbor. The things that we find safety in, the places where we're saying, I got my job, I'm good. I know one of my social media friends, a gentleman who is launching into something new, and it was very scary for him. And I shared this quote with him from Mark Twain. And he said, thanks, brother, I needed that. So you cast off from the safe harbor, set your sails to the trade winds, explore, dream, discover, is what Mark Twain said. And so there's that idea that life is too damn short. We get caught up in the convention. And as I've said many times, I'm just refreshing this for tonight. I've talked about this before. But we get so caught up in the things that have to be done. We have to go to work. We have to earn the paycheck. We got to mow the lawn. We got to put gas in the car. You got to make new keys for the car, for the house. You got to go grocery shopping. You got to paint the wall. You got to mow the grass. All the different things that we do or that are the daily expectations of us. And pretty soon we realize, like today, I didn't do a whole lot of things today, but I had a whole list of things to do. Some of them I didn't even get to because I was doing things end to end to end to end all day long. As a matter of fact, I'm still in my pajama pants. I'd show you, but then I'd have to stand up. And so I didn't even change out of my pajama pants today. I just went outside and started doing all my things and the stuff I had to get done. And so those are the things that are our obligations, but those are also the things that can keep us from thinking that we have the ability to move forward. Now, Jeremy just said, even if you fail, you're still building life memories. Indeed. And you know what? Life goes by awfully damn quickly. So, I mean, I look at myself. I'm still 26, but I'm actually 61. It's like, where did the last 45 years go? You know, you ask that question pretty quick. Where did my misspent youth vanish to? And so it passes by too fast. So too racy for YouTube, says Sarah Yusuf. Oh, I hope not what I'm talking about. So, Scotty, so you are most people in Walmart. So there you go. Yeah, today I am because I'm in my pajama pants. All right, I'll show you. Hopefully the fly's closed. Ta-da! Pajama pants. There they are. There it is, folks. So that's what I'm wearing today. That's what I wore all day today. And that's for you, Leslie. So take advantage of the time you have to do the things you want to do. If it's individually, if it's as a couple, if it's with your family, you do the things you want to do. Because life's too short to not do those things. There are things that I do that I say, I should be maybe doing other things in this. Same with Rainey. We talk about that stuff and we say, well, should we do this thing or should we 20 years from now regret that we didn't do it? So that's the way you look at things. So nothing is impossible to do if you put your mind to it. So I really wanted to share that with you because I was talking with, Leslie, I'm very styling tonight. Looks like the Scottish pants. Yeah, but it's not my kilt, so it's not air conditioned. So yeah, we're just blips on the human record, says Sarah Yusuf. And that's very true. So comfort +4 to your armor class. There it is, David Castle. And so I just want you all to take some time and think about that. Not only think about it, don't think about it and then go, okay, I'm on to my regular routine. Think about the things you want to do and ask, when am I going to do those things? We're too afraid to move into doing things that are different than our routine. We're afraid. We're a fear to the future. What's going to happen if I quit my job and go do that thing? You might end up poor, and then you got to rebuild. But then you've got the experience of having tried it, having done it, not the regret of not ever having tried. So let me encourage you in that respect to do that. And that kind of leads me to something. Maybe this is a decent segue. What did we do with the American Revolution and the founding of this nation? Started something that hadn't been done before. Had there been revolutions before? Sure. Has there ever been a republic put together like ours? No, never. This was the great experiment. And I think the experiment has been succeeding, though we have detractors along the way. And I wanted to bring up something about the American flag because I've been hearing so much in the news lately about it, how the New York Times did a big thing on this last week on redesigning the United States flag. And I saw some of the designs and it's just, to me, they just don't cut it. Maybe it's because I'm used to what has existed, but did you know our flag has existed for over 200 years as a symbol of what this country is? Why do people suddenly want to change that? I think it's because, like we've mentioned in other contexts on this show, this generation especially, in the last couple of generations, we live in that click on something and erase it or throw it out culture. Let's just change that. Like I've mentioned before, a young woman who's a friend of mine on social media said, well, we should just throw out the Constitution. It's garbage. It's like, do you realize that you have the freedom to say that because our Constitution guarantees that God-given right of yours to free speech? You are able to say that in public without fear of repercussion, other than maybe people calling you a dumbass. You're without fear of repercussion on an official level. Why? Because that Constitution guarantees. It doesn't give you any rights. It guarantees the rights that we know are our God-given rights, our innate rights. Sarah Yusuf asks, is the current flag representative of what America is now? Yeah, I think it still is. I think what it's not representative of is where all the I would call them wacky fringe element that want to change it. What was America back then and what was it now? We're going to go through some of that right now. I want to play you something, and maybe this will show a bit of how outdated it is. I'm sorry, that's not the way I want to put that. To some, they will see this as that's why we're outdated right now because of this. I'm going to take off my banner for a second here because I'm going to bring up this video. If any of you are old enough to remember the comedian Red Skelton, he was big in the movies in the 40s, in the 50s, in the 60s. I remember seeing a clip of him recently on Johnny Carson when Johnny Carson was doing the Tonight Show. And this is something he did, and you'll tell by the video itself that it was old off of old TV. But I think you'll enjoy this. Let me call it up here. My video file is right where? Let's find it here. I thought it was loaded up already. Now I got to go find it. Hold on. Maybe it is loaded up and I just missed it. Video file. Nope, it's going to take me out to search for it. So let me load this back up. Red Skelton, here it is. All right, guys. Here we go. Watch this. I'm going to get a copyright hit for this, but I don't care. It's off of YouTube. It's important. It's part of what we're doing tonight. Here we are.
I remember a teacher that I had. Now, I went through the 7th grade. I went to the 7th grade. And I left home when I was 10 years old because I was hungry. And I used to, this is true. I work in the summer and I go to school in the winter. But I had this one teacher. He was the principal of the Harrison School in Vincennes, Indiana. To me, this was the greatest teacher, a real sage of my time, anyhow. He had such wisdom. And we were all reciting the Pledge of Allegiance one day. And he walked over, this little old teacher, Mr. Laswell was his name. Mr. Laswell, and he says, I've been listening to you boys and girls recite the Pledge of Allegiance all semester, and it seems as though it's becoming monotonous to you. If I may I recite it and try to explain to you the meaning of each word. I, me, an individual, a committee of one, pledge, dedicate all of my worldly goods to give without self-pity, allegiance, my love and my devotion to the flag, our standard, Old Glory, a symbol of freedom. Wherever she waves, there's respect, because your loyalty has given her a dignity that shouts freedom is everybody's job. United. That means that we have all come together. States, individual communities that have united into 48 great states. 48 individual communities with pride and dignity and purpose. All divided with imaginary boundaries, yet united to a common purpose, and that's love for country. And to the Republic, a state in which sovereign power is invested in representatives chosen by the people to govern. And government is the people, And it's from the people to the leaders, not from the leaders to the people, for which it stands. One nation, meaning so blessed by God, indivisible, incapable of being divided, with liberty, which is freedom, the right of power to live one's own life without threats, fear, or some sort of retaliation. And justice, the principle or qualities of dealing fairly with others. For all, which means, boys and girls, it's as much your country as it is mine. And now, boys and girls, let me hear you recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Since I was a small boy, 2 states have been added to our country, and 2 words have been added to the Pledge of Allegiance: under God. Wouldn't it be a pity if someone said that is a prayer and that would be eliminated from schools too?
And there you have it. That was Red Skelton back in, I believe it was the late 60s when he did that piece. And I remember when I was in grade school, 5th or 6th grade, that was still grade school, where in our district, you weren't middle school or junior high school until you were in 7th grade. And we found this for the very first time. I don't remember what magazine it was, but some magazine, it might have been Time magazine or something like that. There was one of those, we all had record players back then, of course, not CD players or digital or anything like that. And it was a little record that was printed on vinyl, very flexible, but it was a 45, and you could pop it out of its what do they call it, the scoring, pop it out, and you could throw it on a record player on a 45 and play this. And they had this piece on there, and you could get that anywhere you wanted. And they had places where you could get extra copies of it. But it came out in a national magazine, and we saw that. And he made a very good point at the end. He says, wouldn't it be a shame if they decided that the words under God made it a prayer, and that too would be banned from schools? That was a big controversy in the late 60s and into the 70s. Sometimes even into the 80s and the 90s. So that was on, I believe that was done on Johnny Carson's show, if I'm not mistaken, way back. It might have been a different, one of his own comedy routines. I think Red Skelton had his own show for a while, if I'm not mistaken, in the 60s and the early 70s. So that is something that I wanted you to hear, because I wanted to talk about the history of the American flag and then a bit about the Pledge of Allegiance and why we had that. And the first question I ask, I hear all these people that are against the American flag, or they want to do away with the Constitution. They want to do away with the American flag, the United States flag as we know it. They want to burn on it, shit on it in the streets. All of that kind of stuff goes on. And we've all seen that over recent years and experienced that. And so Old Glory, as it was known, as I opened up, Stars and Stripes, the Star Spangled Banner, from its inception almost 200 years ago, the flag has been an important part of our nation's history, both physically and symbolically, grown and developed in times of both achievement and crisis in this nation. So the American flag is a symbol that's known worldwide. If you're in other countries and you see that American flag, or there's a war going on, World War II, when the people in Germany and the people in Europe saw the United States flag, they knew that the good was coming. Now, I will put in here the one caveat that I only need to mention it because this is the way it's dealt with all the time nowadays. But we all know the United States has made mistakes. We all know that we've had our growing pains. We all know that we've committed our own atrocities of a different kind in the name of the United States. I think of Reuben Fasthorse. I think of the Native American culture that was pushed. Some people try to justify that. Well, we conquered them, therefore it's ours. Well, is conquering them the right thing to have done? Was manifest destiny, meaning we are destined by God to own this whole continent, and if you're in the way, we will plow you over and do away with you. Yes, we had atrocities that we committed. Yes, we had slavery for a time in this nation. But yes, we also were among the first nations, or really the first nation, to abolish it completely. And England abolished it, but not completely. They did after we did. And so, yes, we have done things. We have grown with the times. We have lived through, we have existed as a nation through different paradigms historically. And we have grown and we have learned from those. What I see we've kind of gotten into, I look at our nation's history and I say, these are the things we've learned and we've grown. And I see like a steady wave that's coming in and rolling and growing. Then I see where we've been the last couple of decades and it gets frazzled. There's all these different things, different special interests, different, you have to listen to my thing or view my thing because I'm an American and I have a voice. That's true. But they want to change the basis of who we are to, it would be like any religious group wanting to come in and change the nation's laws because this is how they think. And so we run into that all the time, and we're running into it more and more and more. And what sparked me wanting to do this was the movements that are out there to change the American flag. Now, maybe you might think that's not a big thing on the grand scheme of things. That's not about the economy. That's not about feeding the hungry. It's not about taking care of veterans. It's certainly not about other countries. We've got a lot of listeners on this show that are in other countries: Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, England, Scotland, Germany. All of those people, should it matter to them what our problems are over here, especially when it comes to something as homespun as, almost literally, as the American flag? And yes, I do believe other countries watch what happened to us because we are recognized the world over. The American flag is a symbol that's known worldwide as a symbol of freedom, a symbol of liberty. Why do you think so many people scrambled to get here? Illegally, many of them. It's been the inspiration, this flag, for holidays, for songs, for poems, for books, for artwork, and so much more. The flag has been used to display our nationalism. Now, last night we talked about fascism. Nationalism is a big part of fascism, but it's a different kind of nationalism. It's nationalism in its measured, respectable doses, in its what's the word I'm looking for? It's not nationalism that is pushing you to love and honor and only the state. That's a nationalism of a fascist kind. What I'm talking about is nationalism, national pride for your own country, for your own flag that represents your country. It stood for rebellion, our rebellion against tyranny, and everything else in between. The flag is so important that its history tells the story of America all by itself. It represents freedom, represents dignity. It's the true meaning of being an American. It's been with us through all our war times, all of our sad times, but also in times of our greatest joys and our greatest triumphs. The flag went through many variations before becoming the flag we all know and love. And in fact, it took from January 1st, 1776 to August 21st, 1960. Almost 200 years. So it's been shrouded in legend and mystery, the American flag has, for many years. Did Betsy Ross truly design the first flag? Do the colors really stand for something significant? Because we've all heard that from grade school up. Well, at least when at the day and age I was in grade school, we heard this. Let's explore some of this. When we think of the American Revolution, we think of it in terms of its final form as independence from Britain, a declaring of liberty from what was then the tyranny of the English crown. But the American Revolution was a work in progress. It didn't start out as a movement for independence, but a movement to gain seats in Parliament in England. Did you know that? It evolved from a protest to a full-blown revolution into a move for independence. And our flag reflected the various stages of this. Did you know the whole taxation without representation? Was that because they wanted to form a new nation? Not initially. That's because they wanted a voice as colonists, a voice in Parliament, loyal to the king. And that was being rejected. Let's take a look at the components that make up our current U.S. flag. We have what's known as the canton, or the blue field, the stars, and of course the stripes. So where did these designs come from? Where did we come up with this? I'm going to show you a picture now that we're all very familiar with. This picture right here, this is the flag I have always known. It's the flag I honor and the flag I respect. Is it the flag? Do I give my fealty to a flag? Hell no. But the flag represents the nation that I honor. And so the earliest use of the stars and stripes in what was to become the Americas from the Sons of Liberty flag. The Sons of Liberty were the original Tea Party members, you could say. These are the guys that threw the chests of tea overboard into the Boston Harbor. So starting after the Stamp Act in 1765, the Sons of Liberty began their protesting. They came up with a flag that looked similar to this, only with less stripes. The pattern was about the same, and it could be displayed either horizontally or vertically. And this may have been the pattern that contributed to the stars and stripes for our flag. In 1775, 9 years later, at the beginning of the Revolution, independence had not yet been declared. The Continental Congress was meeting in Philadelphia when a somewhat obscure militia colonel from Virginia came forward in his uniform and volunteered to take command of the troops outside of Boston Heights. You all know who that was. He's on your dollar bill. He's called the father of our country, which some people are protesting against that title for him anymore because, oh, it's a male-dominated thing. It was George Washington, of course. And when he left Philadelphia, he took with him two flags. The Grand Union, or the Continental, as it was called, was the first flag under which the Continental soldiers fought. And it uses the alternating red and white stripe pattern, similar to the Sons of Liberty flag, only there are 13 stripes signifying the 13 colonies. But you have to notice in this flag, and I don't have a picture of it, sorry about that instead of stars on the blue field, we have the King's colors, also known as the Union Jack. So think of the British flag, Union Jack on the stars and on the stripes, red and white stripes. So this flag had a very specific meaning. It meant that we were fighting as 13 united colonies, but under British rule. Remember, at this time, we hadn't yet declared our independence in 1775. So the other flag that Washington took with him is known as the Washington's headquarters flag. As you got to look that one up. I wish I had called these up and stored them so I could show you. There's 13 stars arranged in a pattern known as the 3-2-3-2-3 pattern. And then there's 5 rows of alternating stars of 3 stars, 2 stars, 3 stars, 2 stars, 3 stars. However, you're going to notice that they are 6-pointed stars, not the 5-pointed star that exists on our flag today. It's a slight difference from the 5-pointed star. And this would be the first use of the star pattern on an American flag. And today you can see a copy of this flag hanging in front of Washington's headquarters at Valley Forge. If you go visit Valley Forge to see that site, that flag is going to be hanging there, the Washington flag. Now, a year later, on July 4th in 1776, Congress declared its independence from Great Britain. And from that moment on, we were fighting for our independence. Yet the Continental Congress still did not design a new American flag. That flag came about June 14th of 1777, the next year, when Congress passed the first 3 major flag acts. Congress passed these acts. The first act stated that the flag of the U.S. shall consist of 13 alternating stripes of red and white, with 13 white stars in a blue field, forming a new constellation. What it left out was the following. Were those stripes to be vertical or horizontal? Was there to be blue field where was the blue field to be placed with the circle of stars on it? What was the star pattern to be used? And how many points were to be on the star? So who actually designed the flag? In 1776, you couldn't go into a store and buy a flag off the rack. Back then, flags were made in one of 2 ways. Since most flags had a naval use, you could go to ship's candlery, a store that outfitted ships, and the candler would contract with a small maker, or in many cases an upholsterer, to make the flag. An upholsterer in colonial times had more functions than what we would typically think of today. They didn't just do sofas and chairs. Besides working on furniture, they also made flags and other military equipment. And this is where the legend of Betsy Ross comes into play. We know that Betsy Ross was an upholsterer who made flags for the Pennsylvania Navy. What we don't know is, did she really design the flag? So there's a great deal of controversy about this. But in 1870, Betsy Ross's grandson was addressing an historic society in Philadelphia and said that his grandmother told him that she met with George Washington and others when she designed the flag. But did she design it, or did Francis Hopkinson design it? Francis Hopkinson was one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence from the state of New Jersey. And the only evidence of who made the flag is a bill that was submitted to Congress by Francis Hopkinson that said, for designing the flag, you owe me 2 casks of ale. How's that? Congressman going to Congress saying, you owe me 2 casks of ale for designing this flag. What we don't have is a picture of that flag, a written description of the flag, or even a sketch of the flag. So the mystery still remains. What did it look like when he proposed that to Congress? So regardless of these facts, the legend lives on, and the first flag of the Revolutionary period is referred to as the Betsy Ross flag. And the pattern of stars on the blue field is known by 3 names. The Betsy Ross pattern, this is the circle, the Philadelphia pattern, or the single wreath pattern. And the blue field on the flag also goes by 3 names: the field, the Union, or the canton. Now, because Congress did not set the specifics of where the field would be, or how the star pattern should look, or how many points the star should have during the period, and up until 1912, the stars could be arranged in any manner that a flag maker would choose. So when Congress put together the notion of a flag, they blended the already established design of alternating stripes of red on white, signifying the United Colonies, and a blue field with 13 stars, just like Washington's headquarters flag. Many people believe this may have been the flag that Francis Hopkins designed. But once again, this is only speculation. We don't know for sure. Nobody said so. And so the pattern is known as the Cowpens pattern. Cowpens. Another well-known flag during this time was the Easton flag. got an interesting design to it. Look some of these up. The Eastern flag. But remember, Congress did not specifically where all of the elements should be, say where all the elements should be placed. And after the Revolutionary War, after it ended, our country writes a new constitution. We elect George Washington president. And in 1792, we bring in 2 new states, Vermont and Kentucky. And this begins the question, what do we do with the flag? Because the original Flag Act called for 13 stripes and 13 stars to represent the 13 colonies. What do we do to signify the adding of 2 new states to the Union? So at this time, Congress passes the Second Flag Act. And it states that from now on, we would add 1 stripe and 1 star for each new state. And this new 15-star and 15-stripe flag is known as the Star Spangled Banner. And in this flag that flew over Fort McHenry and inspired Francis Scott Key to write our national anthem, after the War of 1812, we were adding more states again. And as we incorporated more stars and stripes into the design, the flag was starting to look a little lopsided and funny and crowded, frankly. So in 1818, Congress passed the third of the 3 major flag acts. This was done in Congress, folks. It wasn't just somebody's whimsy. So it stated that the design was to go back to the original configuration of 13 alternating stripes of red on white, representing the original 13 colonies at the outbreak of the Revolution. But that we would add 1 star for each new state. However, once again, it did not specify what pattern the stars should be arranged in, or the amount of points that were to be on the stars. So we had many variations of the flag design during that time as well. So finally, in 1912, President Taft established the pattern of stars that we know today. The 48-star, 49 and 50 stars being added, all conform to this pattern. And our flag is an inspiring symbol that unites us all as American citizens. The unique history of the American flag follows the history of our country. It reminds us of the triumphant beginning of the United States. The 13 stripes, a symbol of the first 13 colonies. The stars, a symbol of our country's 50 United States. As our country grew and developed, so did our flag. It's followed the fate of the country itself, and in the future, our flag may even change again and change its configuration. But that kind of brings me to that point of now they're talking about wanting to redesign the American flag. Over 200 years, the flag has pretty much stayed the same with different configurations of stars, stripes, and colors. Today, the flag remains a vibrant symbol of the American principles of democracy, of justice, of freedom. It's a reminder of those things. And of course, the everlasting memory of those who've sacrificed their lives defending these intrinsic principles of the United States of America. That flag is representative of the blood shed to defend all other citizens, the people who gave their lives in either peacetime or wartime to make sure this country existed and was maintained. Over 200 years ago, the Second Continental Congress officially made the Stars and Stripes the symbol of America. This was done in Congress, going so far as to declare that the 13 stars gracing the original flag represented a new constellation with the ideal that America embodied a bright new hope and a light for mankind. Today, our flag continues to carry the inspirational and the fundamental convictions of our great nation, and it's going to continue to do so for many years. Well, hi. What are you up to? Do you say the Pledge of Allegiance at school? Yeah. In the mornings? Mm-hmm. Can you say it for me so people can hear it? Yeah, we're talking about the flag and the pledge.
Too bad for you.
Do you not know it?
Yeah.
You want to say it with I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, I was going to show that to everybody. No, she's pointing to a flag and said, that flag's dumb. Well, let me show you something. These are some pictures of the new proposed redesign of the United States flag. You guys ready for this? I'll show you some designs. Now, look at what you're looking at right now on my screen. That's the Stars and Stripes as we know it, and have known it for a long time. Here's a redesign that's being proposed. Boom. I don't understand. All they're doing is they're switching things around. The red field with white stars, and then the blue and white alternating stripes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. They still have 13 stripes on there. But I think that's garish and ugly. Once again, compared to this. Here's another one that was proposed. Ready? Boom. That must be the 50 states with the stars.
What does that say?
What are you seeing? What are you pointing to? Oh, it's people commenting. They're saying, oh, common kid. So that's one of the other flags proposed. Now, here's another one. I do not have the legend for this in front of me. I saw a legend that told you what the colors stood for. But there's the new flag. Let's see. Let's see if I can find what the legend was for this. Hold on a second. Redesigned U.S. flag. If I can call this up, there's some of these that had, this one had a legend that went along with it to explain what that color block is. Here we go. It's supposed to be the stripes, the red and white stripes indicate fear, forgiveness, anger, joy, and pride. The red is our past. The white is our future. The blue is untapped potential. The yellow is repairing systemic racism. And the green is taking care of our planet. So this is all about racism, environmentalism, wrapped up into unlimited. You be quiet. Don't be a peanut gallery back there yelling out comments unless it's pertinent. So that's what that flag is supposed to mean, which I think is kind of silly. Personal opinion. Now, I saved one of the best for last. You ready for this one? Here's one of the proposed redesigns. Boom! There it is. It's supposed to be a patchwork of, it's got in there the Gadsden flag, the Don't Tread on Me. It's got parts of the United States flag in there. It's got parts of the Trump flag in there. It's got parts of the BLM flag is in there. The thin blue line flag. All of those are in there. And I think it's the most hideous design I've ever seen for a national flag. That's opinion, my part. I don't think we need to redesign our flag because what's wrong with this? I don't think anything is wrong with that. And you know what? We got about a minute left for the radio audience. And I did want to cover one last thing here. What does the Pledge of Allegiance mean? I pledge allegiance means to make a promise. To the flag of the United States of America means we are making a promise to our country. And to the republic for which it stands means the people who are Americans living in our country. And the republic, a constitutionally limited republic that represents the people. The people govern the bosses. The bosses don't govern the people. That's what that's really all about. One nation under God, indivisible, means that all American people are one group and we can't be broken up. That indivisible, Red Skelton said it, indivisible. We're undividable. But look at all the division going on today. With liberty means we're free to make our choices in this country. And justice for all means to be fair and have the same rules for everyone, the same laws for everyone, and the same judicial system for everyone. So, folks, think about it. And right now, we are almost out on the radio audience. So I'm going to say to all of you right now, live long and prosper. And all of you stick around for the Captain's Cabin. We'll be right back.
Join us every weeknight at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. The Intrepid Radio Program, a Scotty Roberts Productions broadcast.
Are you looking for a really awesome and amazing graphic designer? How about an illustrator or a photographer? This is Rainey Roberts, and I wanted to tell you how you can get my designer, illustrator husband, Scotty Roberts, to work for you on your project. Do you have an awesome self-published book but no cover, or even worse, a cover that really sucks? Do you need a kick-ass logo for your company or some f***ing awesome graphic designs for your ads or website? Then get in touch with my husband for the best f***ing awesome kick-ass design and illustration. He knows his stuff, and he's been at this for more years than I've been alive. Go to ScottAllenRoberts.com. That's Scott with 2 T's, ALANROBERTS.com to take a look at his online portfolio of work, or call 651-468-8115. Now go out and kick some ass with some kick-ass graphic design.
Hire my dad so he can take me to Disneyland.
Well, avast, all you lovers. Welcome to the Captain's Cabin. Hope you're all well. Hope you enjoyed the show. This is the post show for those of you who don't know that, who've never been here before. And this is dubbed the Captain's Cabin by all the people that watch this show on a regular basis. My daughter left her chair right up, snugged up against me here. Or Rainey's chair, I should say. So welcome to the program, everybody, the after show. I know we've got people who are not citizens of this country in this chat room and listening to this show. This was kind of a, hope you got something good out of that, despite that being pretty much targeted to American citizens. And so let's see. Amanda Berry, I saw you say something about needing a drawing. Get a hold of me. Let me know what you need. Let's work something out. Tell me what you got. And I see you're singing music or listening to music or whistling music over there. So I didn't see a lot of the comments because during the show, of course, I don't look as much at the chat room as I could. I sometimes, out of the corner of my eye, will catch something and I'll bring it in. But so I wanted to see what you have to say here. I don't know if Uncle Dave's around. I saw somebody mention Dave. Oh, probably David Andra or David Castle. They were both here tonight. Let's see. What do we got? Yeah, yellow and blue for Ukraine. Seriously? Says Daniel Andra. No, I think that yellow and blue, it was for, the blue is eternal potential, and the yellow was for anti-racism, and the green was for something else. It's like, you know what? That's all already stated without having to choose a new color for it. I get so tired of revisionists. We need to revise this. So, and Matthew Sainsbury, you're right. That's bare foolishness. You're absolutely correct when you said that sometime back in the show. Let's see. What else did people say? The designer of that flag is an idiot, said Louis Boyce. I don't know which one you were talking about. Maybe all of them. So, U.S. of China flag, says Elderberry. Too confusing. Yeah, that's that muddled version of a flag. I would have to think it was made by somebody who was a Trump supporter, though, because it's got the Trump flag all chopped up in the background along with everything else. Still, no offense to the designer, but don't quit your day job. Who else had something to say here? I'm just going through some of the comments. Let's see. I know this is not exciting, scintillating live radio. As I'm scrolling through, looking for things you say. Field of Blue. I heard Washington wanted a 5-pointed star or a 6-pointed star. And he may have. He did on his own flag. Let's see. Lots of hello everybody's to everybody else. Yeah, Leslie said the Stars and Stripes is the only flag she sees ever representing our great country. I don't think it needs to be changed. There is something, when you look at all of these, let me run through those again. When you start looking at all of these flags, these redesigns, and there's a bunch more of them, you start looking at this stuff, and you say, why are you trying to redesign this? I think it's because everybody thinks we have to fundamentally change everything we know about the United States, including the symbol of our country in flag form. I don't think it's necessary. They're just dumb, says Rudy Kessler, and I have to agree with you, if that's what you're talking about, if it wasn't in context to something else. 60 United States isn't due, but, sir. I hear we were going to annex Australia. You're going to become our next state. It'll be bigger than Texas. So Australia is entering a new Asian rule. So will the USA have massive change. Yeah, that's the problem. I don't mind change. Change is okay. Change can be good. I have a problem with change for the sake of change because we just want something different. Let's see. The flags are dumb. Yeah, those redesigns are all kind of dumb. I think it's just an exercise in in futility. It's an exercise in showing how dumb we can do things. So, well, there it is. Lots of comments to the. So, if you're a United States citizen, fly your flag. Honor your country. Fly your flag. Fly your flag. Does it mean you don't honor your country if you don't fly it? No. But if you got one, fly it. It means something. It means something around the world, despite the laughing stock it has been made by some. So you have to look at what your nation stands for: abundance and money. How many didn't get it? This would round millions. How many didn't get it? Right. We all know there's always money behind everything. But I would also say that this nation wasn't founded solely on money. It was founded on principle. And people want to turn it into everything that's about money. And of course, there are those who profit off of things. So, yeah, it's.
Red, the politicians have decided to take.
I don't know what I did. There we go. Oh, I was trying to turn that off. So remove it. There we go. That's about all I got, folks, for tonight. We're probably not going to do a very extended Captain's Cabin tonight, mostly because I'm a little dragged out today. And I'm already ready for bed because I already have my pajamas on. Still have them on. So Grumpy Stack wants a plaid flag. It's too confusing. You got to have a flag that you can make out from a distance. But plaid is cool. Can we just go with the skull and crossbones? That's an outstanding flag when you think about it. The skull and crossbones. Let's see. How'd the song go? Trolley Bay. It says, ooh, somebody's getting yelled at by Mom. Trolley Bay. It was June and it was hot when on board the ship we got something powder for the guns and a hogshead full of rum and salt pork to last until the winter squalls. We made for the southwest, where the hunting would be best, with the Spanish ships of trade, with their Aztec silver laid. Were something for gentlemen of fortune, great targets for gentlemen of fortune. And with tar on our pigtails and blood on our rapiers, we'll fly the skull and crossbones. By God, there'll be no prisoners. It's hi-ho away, boys. We'll sail for Trolley Bay, boys. Hoist the Jolly Roger at the break of day. There you go. Staying one step ahead. Smart thinking. Thanks, David Castle. So, greetings, Gaza. Welcome. We're just about ready to wrap up for the night here. We were talking about the American flag tonight. And I hope that there are some deeper principles that would apply to those of you who are not Americans. Store shit up high and fly with the wind. Bring your lemons in a golden ring. La, 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 says Amanda Berry. Well, that makes sense to me. It's got to be a song, huh? Or did you just make that one up? Another great pirate song I knew. It was Stan Rogers. Barrett's Privateers was another great pirate song. And goddamn them all, I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. Look him up, Stan Rogers, Barrett's Privateers. So, good song. Trolley Bay is a little more lighthearted, where they attack a Spanish ship and they steal its treasure and sink it, and they're all set for life. One gig, goodbye, and it's back home. So, good night, Barbie D. Good to see you tonight. Gaza's planting sweet corn. It's going to take me a while. 200 of them. We're just at the end of sweet corn season. We just had Corn on the Cob the other day, over the weekend. Good stuff. So it's harvest time. Burt Lancaster was a good pirate, says Morgan Snow. Yes, he was. So was Errol Flynn. I loved Captain Blood and the Seahawks. I was going to use the theme music from the Seahawks for my theme music for this show, but I had a copyright problem with it. Can't use it on Facebook, or I'm sorry, on YouTube. They will not monetize your shows, and I'm just curious to know if I've already gotten a nope, not yet. It'll come because I used the Red Skelton bit earlier in the show. But 11:11 wish. It's only 10:11 here, so I'll wait an hour for my wish. Yeah, who did you find were some of the best pirates in the movies? I liked Errol Flynn. I liked Burt Lancaster. Always liked Burt Lancaster. Who was another good movie pirate? I was thinking Tyrone Power, but he wasn't a pirate. He was Zorro, one of the original movie Zorros. Douglas Fairbanks before him. So, what's another good pirate movie? Well, there was the Dread Pirate Roberts in The Princess Bride. That was a good one. So, Blackbeard. Our Blackbeard. Oh, did you happen to see, Amanda Berry or anybody else? There was a mini series that was done a couple of years ago with John Malkovich playing Blackbeard. Now we think of Blackbeard with the long hair and the dreads and the long black beard with the little candles or fires he'd light in him. But this showed John Malkovich as the retired Blackbeard. And there was no joke in that. They said that, well, we thought you were dead. And no, he's not dead. And he's down on an island. And I don't know if it was Madagascar or if it was the Caribbean. But where he had retired years earlier, faded into the woodwork, went off grid, and had a whole city there. And had all his gold and treasure and so on. Oh, yeah, of course, Johnny Depp. Morgan Snow says, of course, can't beat Depp. That's the pirate. So, the Smith Family Robinson. Swiss Family Robinson, wasn't it? So no. No, I want to watch. Yeah. The Pirates movies were pretty good. The Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Now, somebody said he's going to do another one. Now, he had sworn Disney could not pay him enough to come back. But I would beg to differ with that. There are people of principle, and there are people who say, I'm a man of principle, but if you offer me $500 million, I'll do it. Who knows what they're going to pay him. But there was some rumoring about that. And it might just be that. Johnny Depp seems to me to be a man of some principle. He didn't get there overnight, but he got there. So I happen to like, for a pirate movie, I loved Treasure Planet, which was the animated cartoon version of Treasure Island. That was a good movie. If you haven't seen that, I've talked about that before in relation to my son, Sam. That you got the makings of greatness in you, boy. So. But you got to take the helm and steer your own course, he says. Caribbean. Yeah, Amanda. I've mentioned before my grandfather had an island down in the Caribbean that he bought land on back in the late 70s when I was in high school. And I'm curious to know if I still have that here. Roatan. It doesn't want to call it up. Let's see if it's here. Roatan. Nope. Honduras. Nope. Island. Probably not. That's weird that that's not showing up. I'll show you something. Here, let me share my screen with you. Share screen. I'm just killing time now. This is scintillating live radio, folks. All right, sharing my screen. Let's go over here. Let's do this. Let's look up Google Earth. Here we go. Google Earth Explore. Have you guys ever gone over and used Google Earth for anything? I'm going to show you something. What am I looking at here? Pirangia National Forest. Oh, this might be New Zealand. You know what we were looking at the last time I was on here? We were looking at where they have the Hobbiton movie sets tours. Might as well show you this while we're right here. Flynn and I were looking at this not long ago. Come on, get closer. All right. I think it's down here. When you actually get into the sets where they have Hobbiton built. I thought it was down this road, down here somewhere. I don't see it. The Shire in New Zealand. Oh, there it is. Well, no, that's the main entrance, the parking ramps and all that, parking lot. Now I can't remember. Oh, here it is. It's over here. It's this way. So you can go down in here and you can actually see, like, here's the party tree and the Hobbiton Village in New Zealand. I think it's right here is Bilbo Baggins' home. And you can see, here, look at all these. These are all the little sites you can see along the way. Maybe this is Bilbo Baggins' house. It's somewhere in here. Here, if we look at this picture, it'll take us in there. You can look around. I believe that's the party tree, if I'm not mistaken. And Bag End is up here somewhere. Maybe not. Maybe not. Well, anyway, you can go over there and you can look at that. That's not why I called this up. Let's go over to, I'm going to go to Roatan. I can spell it right. Roatan, Honduras. Okay. Now, this is going to take us to where my grandfather had his land. Right down here. Now, let's back this out a bit so you can see it. There's the United States. I'm right in here somewhere. There's Minneapolis, St. Paul. I'm over here in that's Eau Claire. I'll show you right where I am. This is so fun when you start getting into this and just looking around. There's Woodville. Oh, that's off 94 there. New Richmond. We're over here in Somerset. You see the river there that divides Minnesota from Wisconsin? Go over here into Somerset. Show you right where we live. Let's see. There's the Apple River. And here's where we used to live, right here. We were right here in this house. That was our townhome. And if you look over here, that was the water tower with the nefarious radio signals coming off of that. But now we don't live much further away from there, but we're over here now. This is our house now, right here. There it is. Here's our front driveway, our front yard. That's our house. The backyard with the fenced-in backyard, and that's our outer backyard, which goes all the way back to here. And we got the shed out there. So we got a nice big yard. When you're down in there, it's a nice big yard. Let's see. You don't see much in 3D. Still looks flat. But there you go. But let's go back to the Caribbean. Roatan. Now look at this as we zoom out. There's the United States, Gulf of Mexico, past Mexico. Here's Roatan. Now this is where my grandfather lived for several years. 15 years he was down there. And so you go down in here. It's off Honduras. You'd fly down, you'd fly through Texas and then down to Tegucigalpa, which is down here, the capital of Honduras, then out to La Ceiba by plane, and then you took a seaplane out to Roatan. Now you see these three islands, Utila, Roatan, Wanaha. My grandfather lived on Roatan up here on the west side, but his land was out here on Wanaha, which he never developed. So a little tiny island out there. There's an airport now, but it's all pretty much fishermen live there. Here you see there's the airport on Wanaha, and he was out near Red Cliff, I thought. So probably out here somewhere was where his land was. And he had 40 acres out there, I believe. But he lived over here on Roatan. He was the dive master of the Pirates Den Hotel. There was a big split in the reef where he lived. Let's see if I can find this just by looking. If I go here, Sandy Bay. He was in the Sandy Bay settlement. See if I can see where that is. Bay Islands, Bailey's Key. My grandfather lived right across from Bailey's Key. Now, if you see here, there's these two keys. Just this right here. This is all reef. All of this other stuff is coral reef. There's this little key right here that grew up off of the reef, and it has palm trees on it. And there was the other key over here, which was Anthony's Key. And this little key here was where they had, you see all these buildings? That was the resort down there. Now, it wasn't big and built up, but it's a pretty nice resort. It's where people would come to go diving. And you see a boat coming in here in this aerial photograph, but there's the split in the reef. And that's how they came in, the Blue Channel, they call it. That's how they came in here with the boats and the yachts and everything. Now, this whole fenced-in area, these docks, that was not there the first time I was down there. My grandfather's house was right across, and I think it's all been developed now here since he was there. But I think he was right in here, in this little beach, right in here. These are mangrove trees and stuff like that all in here. But he was right in this area. Just had a little beach, about 60 feet of beach. Maybe it might have been down here, but we used to go out in the water. It's all coral reef here. So it's like swimming in an aquarium. And so we'd hop in there and we'd swim out here to the quay. And we'd sit out in the sun on the white sand beach on the quay all day. And some of these pictures are newer because, like I say, this is a dolphin pen and things like that in there. And so we would swim out there from his house every day, hang out on the quay. So that's where my grandfather lived. And if we go 3D, you should be able to see the mountain. At least you used to on here. That's looking up the island. And let's see. Again, scintillating live radio. It's just the after show, folks. Don't sweat it. I'm trying to turn the thing. It won't let me turn. Anyway, you could turn it and you could look back and see the mountain. There's one day we climbed up into the big mountain. We found old artifacts and stuff up in there. So that's Roatan. That's where my grandfather lived. And I've been down there a couple of times. But there's your Caribbean is all over here. And Cuba is here. And Haiti, the Dominican Republic. So you're still in the Caribbean down here. So there you go. There you have it. How's that for fascinating live radio? I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So Let's see. Hey, Scotty, look up Sean's house. Where's your house, Sean? So, underground homes in New Zealand. It's fresh air and away from it all. This is Amanda. Hey, field guy. Good to see you. So rather than drag this out interminably, it's been half an hour since the show ended. I think we're going to call it quits for tonight. We don't have to go. We don't have a topic we're going to really talk about. I just rabbit trailed off of a couple of things. And since this is the after show is always informal. And so I thought I'd just do something informally there. That's good because I don't have a head for serious conversation tonight. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to cut out of here. We're going to go. We're going to vamoose. And so I want you all to have a good night. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening to the things I have to talk about. These are my passion, these things. And I appreciate you being here. So live long and prosper.